So we were looking at this idea of a procedure when we were trying to find the maximum marks. So now let's look at how that would work, for instance, in our shopping data set. If you remember, we had tried to find out whether two customers were similar to each other by finding out how many items they had bought of different categories.
Correct.
And in order to do that, we had to actually look at each card and summarize the category in each card. We have to say how many entries are there for, say, household, how many are for food, and then update for each person.
For each card, for each
So there's
person.
the same thing we have to do for every
card.
So that would be a natural thing to delegate to somebody, that you say, give me back.
So there is a work to be done for each card, and there is a work to be done across all cards.
Yes.
So what you are saying is that one person, the contractor, is doing across all cards,
Yes.
and the subcontractor is working on one card.
So I will keep the total overall so far for every customer, but for each new bill, I will ask the subcontractor to tell me what this bill contains for that customer, and then those totals I will update.
Okay.
And if it's a new customer, I will create a new one.
Okay, so here's the data set. So let's say I am the subcontractor, you are the contractor.
So
What are we agreeing? What are we agreeing? You will give me what?
So I will tell you that
You will give me this bunch of
I'll
cards
give you these cards, and I will tell you that I want you to tell me for this bill,
for a given bill.
for a given bill, how many.
So the procedure is to find out the value for each
Yes.
category.
So how many items are there for apparel?
Apparel, how many apparel, food. So I have written many things. I am not writing one thing now.
Yes. You have to give me back
I have to give you back
a list of values or a list.
for each of these apparel, food, toiletries, utilities, household. How many items, how many rows are there
Yeah.
for apparel, how many rows are there for food, how many rows are there for toiletry, utilities, household.
Yeah. And where we have also made some
And is that-
assumptions like stationery comes under utilities.
That's okay, but is this for what? Is it for a person or it's for a card or
Oh yeah, I guess we are doing it for one card. So
a person?
and for that one card, I also need to know whose card it is.
Okay.
So
Because you're
maybe
doing it for a person, right?
Yeah. So maybe I should also tell you to tell me back, because you are reading this card for me. So you should also tell me back the name of the person.
You can note the name of the person and give me.
I could note the name of the person, give you also.
So if you just give me one card,
Yeah.
I don't need this deck actually. What do I need the deck for?
I
If you
can
just give me one card,
Okay. And then you just tell me these things. So
you,
then I don't.
you give me one card.
And I keep track of which card, whose name it is.
Yeah, I don't want to know the name.
Okay.
You just give me the card, and I'm not looking at name and all that. I'm just looking at the name, the items, rows.
Okay.
I have all other fields I ignore. I'll go down the rows. I'll look at the category, and I'll keep track of how many line items I'm seeing, how many lines, rows
Yes.
I'm seeing of each category,
And then you give.
and I will add it up and I will put it in this, and I will give it back to you.
Okay. So let's try that.
Yeah. So I don't need the deck. So this is quite different from what we saw earlier, where you gave me the deck,
Yes.
and then you told me whether I can mess around with it or not.
Yeah. Because here I just give you.
Here
one,
you give me one card.
and obviously
so
you're not allowed to mess around with it.
I can't do anything with your deck now.
Yeah.
So slightly different, but I have to do a lot of work on one card. Yeah. Okay.
And in fact, it's something that, in principle, I need not even give it to you. I could show it to you from through a window or something like that.
You don't have to give me the
I don't
card.
have to physically give you the card, because you don't need to operate on the card. You just need to read the
Read the values.
values.
Okay.
Anyway, so first I have to tell, but as we said, I have to remember who it is. So supposing I look at that card and I said, okay, this is the first time I'm seeing Advait, and now I've given you a card for Advait. So whatever answers you, so I have to give you this card to write down what you report.
So what do I report in this?
So
I have to report the number of. So how many apparels are there? So we know basically that there are no apparels. So I put 0 here.
Yeah.
Right. Food items none. So I put 0 here.
Yes.
Toiletries again none. Stationery we called a utility.
Yes.
So there are 4 of them.
Yes.
And again household there are none. So 0. So this is what I give back to you.
Yeah. So now you give.
And I give
me,
back your
because the
card.
card is back with me, so I'll
Your-
move it to that set since we have seen it.
Okay.
So what I will do is I will go down this list. I will not write 0, because we don't want to just unnecessarily write 0. We will always put, or we could write. So we could say that currently Advait has 0 for all these, 4 for utilities, and 0 for.
So what are you doing? You are taking whatever I gave you and
Right
you are
now,
right
I'm
now
updating-
making an entry.
Making an entry, but now if we see one more Advait bill,
You may have to
I
add.
may have to add that.
But you trust my reading. You are not
Yes.
just like last time.
Yes.
You assume that what I am doing is correct.
Yes.
You trust me, okay, as a
So
subcontractor
now
to
I give you. So first I note down that this is Abhinav. So this is a different person,
do. Okay.
and I give you that thing again. And now again you have to do the same.
Same procedure, right?
Yes.
I ignore everything. I am just looking down this line and seeing row by row. So there are 2 toiletries here, right?
Yes.
And there is nothing else. So 0 everywhere else. So I give you back this card,
Okay.
and I give you the result.
So now I note down for Abhinav that there were 2 toiletries and 0 everywhere else. So this is my thing. So now we have done that. So now I have an interesting case because now I have Advait again.
Advaita has been,
So Advait has already been done once.
I do not need to know about it.
You don't know about it, but I need to keep track.
You keep track.
So I give you this card, and
As far as I am concerned, as a subcontractor, I do not even know the name. I do not care actually. Okay.
You're not looking at the name.
I do not know anything. All I know basically is that you have given me a card. On this card there are 3 lines.
Yes.
I have to just basically return to you the category totals. So apparel in this is 0, right? Food is all are food in fact 3.
Okay.
Okay. And there are no toiletries, there is no utilities, and there is no household. So this is what I got. So here I give you back the card.
Yeah.
Along
Now
with the
I will take this information and I will look at the fact that it's Advait and go and update. So now I see that apparel remains 0, but food has now become 3, which was earlier 0. Toiletries is 0 and nothing else changes. So I have updated 0 plus 3 is 3 and left the others column. So now we are done with this card.
Okay.
So now there is a new card which I give you, which is Srivatsan.
Okay.
So
and again I do not know whether Srivatsan, Advait, I do not know anything. Yeah. Okay. It could have been Advait. It does not matter to me.
It is Srivatsan, and so
it does not matter to me. For me all it matters basically is that I have these many rows here and I have to look at the rows. Yes. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 food items here, and there are no apparels, there are no toiletries, there are no utilities, there is no household. Okay. So here I give you back the card.
I take it back.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at the name Srivatsan and I update the row for Srivatsan. So there was nothing there. So I just put 0, 6, 0, 0, 0.
So this kind of makes it a little modular, easier, right? Modular, because see I do not need to know name.
Correct.
And you do not need to know how to total.
Exactly. Or
Right?
I also don't need to know
Category, nothing.
how you are deciding that stationery is utility and
All that
something else.
decision I am making. You do not need to know,
Right.
right?
Correct.
So we have separated
Yes.
the decision making nicely into 2 buckets, modular way of separating the thing.
So let's do one last one maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So again, just to illustrate, maybe this time I don't even I don't note the name until you give it back to me.
Okay.
So I just give it to you and say give me the total. When I get it back, I can look up.
Okay, and I also do not care about the name, but here there are many lines, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of 9, 1 is household, right? 1 is household, and all the others are food as far as I can make out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 foods. Okay, there are 8 food, no apparel, no toiletry, no utility. So here you go.
So now after you give it back to me, I check that this is Abhinav. So I go back to the Abhinav row because I have an Abhinav row here, and I have to now update the rows with change. So food has become 8, and household has now gone from 0 to 1, right? And this is done. So in this way, basically, we could keep doing it for every card. So at every card, I give you the card with the categories that I want you to total up. You give it back to me with those totals. I note down the name and either create a new row or update that row.
So I mean fundamentally there are some differences between what we saw for that max, what we did for max with the and what we are seeing here.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed basically is there you gave me the entire deck of cards.
Yes.
And I had to operate on the entire deck to find the max each time and then return the max to you. Here I have nothing, I do not need the deck, I have only one card I am working at a time. So this looks, this case the parameter is the card is coming in some sense, right?
The parameter is the card here, and the function that we are calling is to return these category wise.
Yeah, but there the return was very simple.
Yeah, one number.
One number I returned. Yeah. Whereas here I am returning some more complicated thing. Right. I am returning one value for each category.
So let us call this function say category total. So this is the function that we are doing. Right? So I give you a card, a bill, say. Right? And what you return to me is a
list of
or a table like this, right?
A list of, yeah, a table of or whatever.
Yeah, so where we have apparel, food. So the first column is known. So these are the 5 categories, and you have to fill in these numbers, right? So these numbers is what you have to
fill and return. So whereas the first one, the input was complicated because we had a whole deck to work on.
Yeah.
Output was simple. Here the input is simple.
The
output is complicated.
But the other thing is, in this case, the input really, there's only a single object, a single
value,
and you don't change anything.
And I don't change
so
anything.
There is no question of shuffling the
no
cards.
shuffling the cards.
You can't rearrange the row.
Is there a name for this in programming this business, that when I return I might also change the order of the cards, something like that? Is there a name for that? What is it called?
Well, sometimes we call it a side effect.
Side effect.
Right? So I ask you to do something, and in the process of doing that, you have changed
Change something
else which was not necessary to change, or I did not perhaps expect you to change. Right? So this happens, for instance, you call somebody to fix your plug, electrician, and then he ends up messing up the wall, so you have to call a painter. I mean, this happens actually quite a lot when you're building a house.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have to call the fellow to make the tiles, and then the fellow to make the lights, and then the fellow to paint the walls, it's very difficult to figure out whom to call first, because each one will mess up the other person's work. Right? So the side effects can be very problematic. Subcontractors.
Good idea to tell the subcontractor what he should give, in what state he should leave the thing when he finishes.
So you
right?
should be able to anticipate the side effects and take care of that.
Take care
if I
of
assume that I give you that marks cards and I get it back in the same order, and it does not happen, then it will be a bit problematic for me, because the next step might depend on the order, and if you have messed it up. So I need to know whether the procedure has got side effects or not, and take action according to that. Or I have to make you promise that you don't.
I won't have any side.
So like in this case, where I give you a card and there is no
possibility of making side effect. Yes. Yeah. Okay.